think the first place to start here is with the institutes and the brand of the institutes, who your constituents are, and maybe who your constituents aren't yet.
So the Institutes is more than 100 years old, and we've been serving the industry for that whole time. Our brand is fairly well recognized, although I'm not sure everybody knows everything we do, frankly. So our constituents so far, to date, are property casualty insurance organizations across the whole sort of breadth and depth of the industry. So we're experts in every segment of the industry, and that's our job. We're a not-for-profit, basically owned by the industry, and our job is to help the industry educate their employees, and increasingly we do work in more than just designations, but we call it knowledge solutions.
What people define as knowledge today could maybe differ from how they may consider knowledge or knowledgeable down the road. Can you speak to what the Institutes is doing to expand the definition of knowledge a little bit?
Yeah, so we think in terms of content and delivery. So for knowledge to be effective, we believe it must be delivered in a time, manner, and place of a person's choosing. Fortunately for us, there's been an information technology revolution. So not only has the world of knowledge increased logarithmically, but the ability to deliver it has. So what that means, Wayne, is that there's a variety of different ways we can deliver knowledge, not just our traditional ways, and we're exploring those ways. So more just in time, more modalities, different ways of delivering knowledge over the internet, and different aspects of it, all aimed at solving business problems. So in other words, if an organization has a business problem and there's a knowledge-based solution, that falls within our purview. So not the traditional stuff only, but an expanded view of that.
Yeah, so the delivery of that knowledge, and the way you've described it, means that there's something to be measured.
Yes.
Right, there's success, there's difference to be had. Right, so your process is imparting information, imparting knowledge, but also moving the needle for companies, right?
Absolutely. I'm a big believer that knowledge just for the sake of knowledge is really great for a cocktail party, but is not so great for business.
Right.
And our job, and I believe the purpose of the knowledge solutions we provide, is to allow people and their organizations to achieve their goals. Right. Knowledge really is power, and knowledge is advancement, and that's what we're trying to do to make sure the folks have the tools they need and their organizations have the tools they need in order to reach their goals.
So you talked about the Institutes having a very, very long, storied brand relative to P&C and how deep it is, and that's what the Institutes is today. That's what it's become.
Right.
I know the Institutes is on the move.
Yes.
So if we look ahead a year or 2 or 3 years from now, what does the constituency fabric of the Institutes look like?
Well, let me just start with our history, because for any organization that's more than 100 years old, that means the organization can adapt, right? 100 years ago is not today in terms of business. So we have a long history of adapting and actually proactively adapting.
Right.
So the Institute's 2, 5, 10 years from now, I think is a different organization than it is today. What we're charged with doing really is supporting the industry. And the way in which we've done that has been through sort of a knowledge vertical, if you will. We're looking for opportunities to expand that based on the recommendation of our board. So I think you'll see the Institutes get into more things than it has in the past. Keep our roots and our foundation in knowledge, but the application and the definition of knowledge expands, and our ability to meet industry needs in a way that is consistent with our not-for-profit status, therefore available to all members of the industry, I think is something that's really exciting for me and where our organization's going.
Yeah, I kind of sense an undertone of, like everything else at InsurTech Connect 2017, of innovation, right? That acknowledgement that innovation moves.
Right.
And the Institutes, as it serves its constituents, moves with it or ahead of it, right? So they can properly serve.
Right. Yeah, so for example, years ago, we were a leader in risk management, in defining risk and to define the steps in the process to how to categorize and manage risk. So that's an example of how we're ahead of the industry in terms of the definition of that and how to manage that. And those are the things we think going forward. So again, that's a long history for us and we're excited about it.
Right. Well, I have a little bit of advantage over the people in the audience because I happen to know some of the things you're thinking about doing to expand that definition of knowledge, expand that reach. So I think about outside the other lines of business other than P&C, navigability of life and some other areas, and then you look at the insurtech, right? Because your history has been tied to insurers, but innovation driven inside and out, and so the folks on the out maybe don't know the institutes as well and what benefits could be derived through the institutes.
Yeah, I think what we have a great reach into the industry. So as I said, we've been serving the industry for a long time. We're partners with the industry, true partners. We believe we're Switzerland, so we serve everybody, all sides of the industry, and frankly, we're in a very fortunate position because of our long history and frankly the trust the industry has in us, that we're experts in the industry. So when innovation in insurtech comes along, I think it's a great marriage, if you will, of our knowledge of the industry, our reach into the industry, and their knowledge of technology. I think that is a great partnership because we've been around a long time. We have a lot of people that have been experts in the industry, and I think that's a great leverage point for both of us.
Yeah, you know, at Innovators Edge and in ITO, we have a great opportunity to talk to just a whole lot of insurtech innovators and the like. And those that have an understanding of the industry are somewhat rare, right? The great entrepreneurs and the great technologists might not understand or appreciate the nuance. Right. The Institute stands to be a source for them, a great source of that knowledge base that is unbiased.
Right. And that's really the point, thank you for that, is to say we don't have an agenda, we are here to serve the industry. So insurtechs coming to us can be sure that they're going to get an unbiased, comprehensive view of the industry. And as I said, our job for a long time has been to be experts in all segments and facets of the industry. So that's why we're excited about some of the opportunities with insurtech, because you know, in any sort of technology, the tool's great. It's the problem domain that tool's applied to where you get the results. And we happen to be experts in the problem domain.
Right. So as you look at the menu of things that the Institute provides to its constituents, my experience in situations like that, there are a few that capture all of the benefits, but there are many that maybe don't capture all the things that are available, right? They don't benefit from the full measure of the power of something like the Institutes. Is that true? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Partially it's because of a specific needs. So we have a wide variety of products. We have a research arm, the Insurance Research Council. We work to attract new talent to the industry through our MyPath. We have a host of designations, we have a host of online products, and we're starting some new things. So some organizations might have a lens depending on their specific piece of the business or what their specific needs are. But we're trying to make sure they know the comprehensive picture because that's our job.
Right. So one of the things I want to make sure our audience understands is that the Institutes is a significant player in the industry. Maybe not the first thing that comes to your mind yet, but they're a significant player in the attraction to the innovation community is large. And the Institute takes a leadership position. You might not understand how far out in front a lot of these things the Institute actually is. And you know, that may be more publicly aware in the future, right? You might speak to a little bit of that, but right now they are that, and they're taking that role as a leader.
Sure, and again, we have a history. So a recent history is data analytics. We have introduced content around data analytics and how it's applied to insurance, so that managers who use data tools, perhaps those developed by insurtechs, will have an understanding of the underlying basis of machine learning or artificial intelligence or deep learning and what those tools are, so when they get the outcome of that, they can understand what it does. Also, then they'll be able to have a better conversation with the insurtechs. So again, we have reach into all that. We're very fortunate. The industry trusts us. And they trusted us with some new products and services that we're developing as well.
That trust allows you guys as the Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
To look at 2019, 2020, 2021 with an honest view from the carriers, right? And kind of project, if you will, in a safe place, what that might look like, and how it is the institutes could come back and create platforms that would serve them in that era, right?
Right, absolutely. So as we look forward, we sort of have a model with a lot of the insurtechs and a lot of these new capabilities. And I got to tell you, I think this is an awesome time to be in this industry, because I'm an old IT guy in this industry, and I think there's sort of a confluence of tools now that hasn't existed in the past. Because you know, Wayne, we've heard in the past, technology is going to revolutionize this industry, and it's made changes. But I think if you look at sort of the logarithmic increase in capabilities of the tools, it's really astounding, and I'm very excited. So we have sort of a three-phase model. One is data collection, Internet of Things, and those capabilities I think are growing. Data storage, and that's sort of blockchain, where you can actually execute computer instructions, and then advanced analytics, data analytics. And that then feeds sort of the blockchain. So that's sort of our three-tiered model, and we're working on each one of the tiers. Right. So that's very exciting to me. I can't tell you, I think it's a great industry and a great time.
Well, Pete, I know that the Institutes just does great work. And I know your roadmap a little bit, and I know that the Institute's impact on the industry is going to just get bigger and better and probably more well known.
Yeah, and we're really excited, if I might, about this risk block. This is a consortium we've started up with the support of the industry, commercial, personal lines, brokers, reinsurers. We have about 40 companies involved in this right now and growing. Right. And the idea is it's a consortium because I think blockchain technologies are going to need a consortium to advance, and that's what we're after.
You know, I want to stay on that before I let you go, because you know, we at Innovators Edge, we kind of believe that technology left its own devices is relatively agnostic.
Right.
Not good, bad, left, right, up, down, it just is what it is.
Right.
It needs to be brought to the campus, if you will, some notion of what should be. Right, and what the Institutes is able to do, because they are Switzerland, they are agnostic, is you could explore this notion of what should be without an agenda, without an axe to grind. What is the best possible thing for the industry? Make it happen. And that is super exciting.
And it is for me, Wayne, because that's where the 100 years, because we have been doing that in knowledge products for 100 years. But again, we're not a technology vendor, we're agnostic. Right. You know, we're not a groupings of companies, right. We're agnostic. So we're not tied to one technology or one methodology, but in a consortium way, working with a lot of organizations across the whole spectrum, we can develop the tools that best serve the industry in a way that's transparent to the industry. Right? So they know what we're doing, they know the costs, they know where it's going, the decisions that are being made, because the consortium makes those decisions and we help manage that. So it's very exciting.
Terrific. Pete Miller, you're awesome.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Wayne.
Thanks so much.